Battlecat. How you doing?
Good.
Man,
How you feeling?
Pleasure, man. It's a pleasure to have you, especially in these times. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Wow, what a time to be alive.
Man, come on, all of from day one to now, it's a blessing, man. I ain't gonna lie,
Definitely.
It's crazy out here, but for us to still be here, I mean, we're definitely destined,
Amen.
to fulfill some things.
Amen.
Yeah.
I agree wholeheartedly. Where I want to start off with this is pretty much humble beginnings, because in order to be a great musician, there has to be a lot of great music played in the house.
Yes, definitely.
And your elders are responsible for that.
Yes, definitely.
So for you, especially as a DJ, what were some of the key records or key artists that influenced what you were doing in the early 90s?
Well, to tell the truth though, before I met any professional DJ, really my mother was my foundation in me learning how to listen to music, and having me play her 45s and stack LPs. I was playing them repetitiously, so daily, through the week and weekend, and so really I didn't know that she was preparing me to learn how to program, and that's important. Selecting, reading the credits, the covers and cassettes and 8-tracks, knowing first and last name basis is important, especially when you're being asked to select or play a record. You want to know it, and reading the labels as far as the beats per minute and stuff like that.
Very true.
That helped a lot tremendously. So, but my mother set me up swell, and then my dad played an intricate role as well by being under his wings over the summer in the ghetto. It was a beautiful experience seeing how a band is being formed as far as groups and the protocols of rehearsal, learning how the DJ game is integrated with the art of music.
Exactly.
And so seeing both worlds and foundation of it, it was a impactful experience for me.
Yeah. And for you, what was it about funk? Because you're so monumental in G-Funk and just that whole movement. What was it about funk records that just drew you and Dre and just people who were cultivating that sound? What was it about it?
Well, the foundation of me being able to appreciate funk in the first place was gospel. When you got records from DJ Roger, Senior, that just passed recently, he was one of the first that I ever heard to integrate funk and gospel and soul all into one. By hearing that, the passion for my appreciation of others that came along, like Confunction, Crusaders, Rick James, Roger Troutman, of course Funkadelic, Bootsy. There's so many to name because it was other groups before. On Zone, Pleasure, Slave. So we're talking about Ohio, Detroit, and LA. For me, those three entities of great music really won me over. So my first love is drums from the age of 3 all the way to the age I am now. But in the beginning, I was inspired from my dad and him and his selection of music, because he was heavily into rock and roll. So he introduced me to Jimi Hendrix.
Of course.
Jimi Hendrix and the Band of Gypsies, which was Buddy Miles and Billy Moss, I want to say it. So as a kid hearing that music, Eddie Kendrick and all the rest of these guys, as a kid, what it did for me was gave me a sense of my own identity and appreciation of music. So being a dancer too helped me appreciate the transition of music and how much it affects the crowd, my audience, the community of music, and the message. And that's one thing for me. It was mandatory to have a voice and a message with the appreciation of music.
You talked about like Ohio and Detroit and just everything kind of just coming together. It's wild. A regional sound sometimes may come from another state or another country.
Or another coast, yeah.
Right, and then also I really like what you said about rock and roll and how that played a role. How do you feel about others taking sounds from different regions and then adapting it into their own? Because sometimes some people might take it as like, okay, you're biting, or this, you might be appropriating, or it just depends on the context, right? But how do you feel when it comes down to people just borrowing technically, but then not really giving credit?
Well, for me, to answer your first one, how do I feel about sampling and incorporating it into what I do? It's, first of all, it's a blessing to keep our ancestors of music in the forefront and to a new genre of music, which was called hip hop, which they felt didn't have any foundation or history to excel, and it's now the foundation and the richest machine of successful entertainment and music. So I looked at it like another curriculum when hip hop came, and it was another way to give people an identity in music, especially me, because some people never really knew my history before becoming the legendary DJ Battlecat. I'm the person named Kevin, so Kevin was discovering himself through this thing called hip hop. So to combine my drum skills from a musician point of view into this thing called hip hop, I was able to discover drum machines, and I had great big brothers around me in my community and in Dre's backyard. Joining the world class wrecking crew through a mutual friend of mine named Richard Rich from the LA Dream Team. It gave me the opportunity to go into Dre's backyard where he, in the earlier days of creating and making records. And the second day of being up at Lonzo's recording studio, I was working on this drum machine, and it samples, and you could, incorporate beats and samples together. And it was unique because now you're talking about records that you always loved and you always wanted to remix or put your spin on a record that you grew up on. So Dre actually showed me how to program the drum machine the last day before he left the working crew to form NWA. So he showed me how to program this drum machine and how to properly use it, and that gave me my escape and my new journey to become a producer. But first I had to maximize the art of utilizing and working the drum machine to perfection, so I could become a great drum programmer. So that's what a beat maker is.
Right.